It's all set? Okay. Hi, welcome to TLC. I'm Wendy Bombard. I'm a BSN RN, and I want to tell you a little bit about how I came to TLC. About a year and a half ago, I was recruited by Tim Fortune, who is our vice president, and I was brought into TLC with the understanding I would work approximately 4 hours. And TLC had a lot of really exciting opportunities for me, and they had lots of things in mind that I didn't even know about. And here I am sitting here working between 15 and 40 hours a week. TLC is an extremely warm and friendly environment, and so I couldn't resist those opportunities. So a few things that I do here at TLC is I work for 3 independent living facilities. I am the clinic nurse there, and I also case manage those 3 buildings. I love that hands-on care that I'm able to give to clients. I also teach orientation every single week to all the new employees that come into TLC on Wednesdays. And I also run 2 Alzheimer's support groups. I run one on the first Wednesday of every single month from 6:30 to 8, and pizza is included. And I also run another support group on the 3rd Tuesday of every month from 11 to 12:30 at Pillsbury Manor in Allenwood in South Burlington. And I am lucky enough to have lunch served for that one. The reason that I tell you a little bit about what I do is because people out in the community that are suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's disease, their family members are looking for help, and these 2 support groups would offer free assistance. So I'm very passionate about those 2 groups. And I also every other month teach PCA classes, patient care attendant classes. I co-teach them with Alan Susi, who is the director of nursing here. And we do that Tuesday through Friday from 8 to 5. And there is a 1-hour lunch as well. And at the end of Friday, not only are you a PCA, but you're also a TLC employee. So I do that as well. And hopefully upcoming, I will be teaching Powerful Tools for Caregiving, which is a national course designed to care for the caregiver. And that's a 6-week short course that is free to the public, and it's co-taught. There's 2 teachers involved, and we have a script. It is a scripted course, and that is also offered to the community, and it is an hour and a half per week, depending on what time frame we're going to pick. I'm not sure, but those are the things that I currently am doing. I'm also a case manager in Chittenden County, so as well as the 3 buildings I case manage, I also have a few people that are in Chittenden County that I oversee the caregivers in. So that's a little bit about me, and now it's time to focus on you, because that is why we're here. So I'm going to start by saying welcome. And we're going to go through a PowerPoint here. The first thing we're going to talk about is our first client, who is Mohammed's first client. This lady here actually helped Mohammed come up with this company, and we're going to listen to what she has to say.
When I fell and Mohammed became a nurse, TLC was born. I was in a nursing home 5 months, and one day my son Michael brought a friend. And the friend was Mohammed. And his famous words were, "When you go back to Cathedral Square, I will take care of you." And here I am. And what else? He has done so much for me. One evening we're watching TV, And he said, I need a name for my company. And I said, TLC. And he said, okay.
That's great.
And he's been taking wonderful care of me. And I can remember, if anybody needs tender, loving care, call Muhammad at TLC. It was winter, and sometimes maybe I didn't like the breakfast here, and Muhammad would go out. It was very cold, and he would go to McDonald's to get me breakfast.
That's great. That's great.
What else?
What about our caregivers? How do you like our caregivers?
Oh, okay. The caregivers are all very nice, kind. They're very good. And above all, Abby is the scheduler. He's everybody's friend. What else can I treated all the caregivers like my daughters, and I showed them what to do, and they always did it. He has been helpful in every way. When I came back from the nursing home, Muhammad at TLC had a bed ready for me, and it was like a hospital bed. And he started a routine with the bed and with everything else, and we're still doing the same routine to this day. I believe it's been 5 years since Muhammad's been supervising and helping me. If you need, maybe I said, if you need tender, loving care, call Muhammad at TLC. Muhammad and I created a foundation for TLC.
Mm-hmm.
We are the co-founders. Thank you very much.
Okay, so as you heard, she is a co-founder of TLC. So a little bit about our core team here at TLC. The president and CEO is Mohammed. And Mohammed found this company in 2006 after he realized going out into the field that there was not enough staff in the facilities out there. He is a nurse, and he determined that there needed to be more assistance and more help. So he built this company with the idea of staffing agencies as well as helping out in home care. He was 21 when he built this company, and now he's 31. So this company has been around for 10 years. Underneath that is the vice president. That's Tim Fortune. I did mention to you Tim, as he was who recruited me. His job is to get out there in the community and determine the needs that are out there and try and meet them with TLC services. So he is a very big part of our community, and he's very well known. He is a part of all kinds of groups in the community. He's very involved with Alzheimer's Association, and he's also out there recruiting as well. All the way to the left here is the business manager. That's Abby. Abby was mentioned in the video as being a scheduler. He's no longer a scheduler. He's my right-hand man IT guy, but he's also very much involved with you. He's involved with the contracts that are being put in for all of you and your housing contracts, and so he's very much involved with that. Next to him is the CFO, that's the Chief Financial Officer, and that is Tim's wife, who is Vanessa Fortune. She is a lovely lady here, and she is in charge of all the paychecks and all of the time cards. I urge you to get to know her. And on a side, your time cards need to be in at 9 o'clock every single Monday morning. And they can be put in all different ways. They can be put in by email, they can be dropped off at the office, they can be faxed, they can be mailed. We have a box outside of the office that you can drop it into if you need to. but primarily electronically is how people usually get them to us, and they are done. You can take a picture of it and send it however you want to do it, but just know that that is an expectation to have time cards in at 9 o'clock on Monday morning. Next to the CFO is our Regional Vice President and Community Liaison in New Hampshire, and that's Bob. Bob is over in New Hampshire. He does a lot of intake for us. So if there's somebody who would like to join TLC as a client, we refer them to Bob, and Bob does a lot of the interviewing process with those families. He also is very involved with the community in New Hampshire. To the right of that is our Director of Nursing, that's Alan Susi. Alan has been here a little bit over 3 years, and he basically oversees everybody outside of the core team, and also some of the core team. He oversees our PCAs, our LNAs, our LPNs, our RNs. He also, as I said before, he does co-teach with me, and he oversees the 3 sections of case managers. We have case managers in the New Hampshire area, are Kathy and Bob Widger. We have case managers in Chittenden County, are myself and Jean Jordan. And we have case managers in Central Vermont who are Rose and Nancy. And the 6 of us will be in charge of home care. You will be overseen by the Director of Nursing, Alan Susi. Over to the right here is the scheduling supervisor, and that's Courtney. And Courtney will be overseeing the home care scheduler, who's Robin, and our staffing scheduler, who is Lena. And you will be working with Lena. To the right is the Human Resources Manager and Recruiting, that is Pam. And Pam oversees our recruiting and HR coordinator, Cara, and our reception and administrative assistant is Brenda. And here are our pictures. All the way to the left here is Mohammed. He's the founder of TLC. He's also a registered nurse, as I said before. There's Tim Fortune, Robert Ellis, or Bob, and Abby. Alan Susi, I've spoken a lot about. He's responsible for overseeing all the case managers as well as all the caregivers, LNAs, LPNs, and RNs. Vanessa Fortune, who is our financial officer. Courtney O'Brien, who oversees both home care and also staffing. And HR's manager, who is Pam. This is an example of one of our case managers, Rose, who works out of our Barrie office. She covers all of Vermont and New Hampshire. And we also just hired Nancy Racine, who is another case manager. We have Lena, who is our staffing coordinator, and she will be working with you. And we have Robin Ashley, who is our home care coordinator. So why TLC? What makes us special? Well, we were voted Best of the Best business in 2014 and 2015. We also have maintained a A+ rating with Better Business Bureau for over 5 years, and we're very proud of that. But what's most exciting is our 2016 Best of Home Care based on Families rating, which is awarded by senioradvisor.com. These are all wonderful achievements for us, and we are excited to be able to share them with you. We have 3 offices. We have a Barrie office on 192 South Main Street, which you are able to have appointments in. We have our West Lebanon office, 93 South Main Street, and that's also by appointment only. And then we have our main office in South Burlington at 1550 Williston Road, and our hours are 8 to 6. We're hoping our next office will be in Rutland. So TLC Home Care and TLC Nursing is a nurse-owned and operated agency specializing in non-medical home care and healthcare staffing. So founded in 2006, as I said before, our company is focused on providing compassionate care to homebound seniors, affording them the best quality of life, and delivering flexible staffing solutions to the healthcare industry in the New England area. So our promise to our client, which is a promise made by you, is to treat each client with respect and dignity, to treat each client as if we're caring for a member of our own family, to respect each client's privacy, to thrive for excellence on our work, and continuously adapt to improve the quality of care delivered. We are all about team leadership here, and appreciation for individual needs and social responsibilities. And these are all pillars in our communities where care needs are constant. So TLC Home Care and Nursing are there to support you, and that's what's very important in this. This is a video that was done by Tim Fortune that depicts exactly what we do for families out in the community. These are just some of the multitude amounts of things that TLC can offer to people so that they can go to work and feel comfortable knowing that their loved one is in great hands.
Ruth lives independently in her home and is very happy there. Her children all work and some have moved away. Ruth lives independently in her home and is very happy there. Her children all work and some have moved away. They all love her very much and want to respect her wish to continue living in her home. Ruth's family worries about her daily, concerned if she is taking her medications, eating good meals, and has someone to share the day with. They are looking for a little TLC for their mom. TLC Home Care is the answer her family has been looking for. TLC provides companionship, homemaking, personal care, medication reminders, transportation, and much more. TLC is accredited by the Better Business Bureau and is a member of the Home Care Association of America. TLC Home Care provides Ruth's family the confidence they need that she has a caring and compassionate caregiver who ensures that all of Ruth's activities of daily living are being met safely. Included in Ruth's care is 24-hour access to TLC's licensed nurse, who creates her plan of care with her family and shares it with her physician. This gives everyone involved peace of mind that Ruth is getting the best possible care in her home, because there's no place like home for care. Possible care in her home, because there's no place like home for care.
Okay, so hopefully that gave you an idea of what we do out in the community for families. So, as I said before, we were founded in 2006, and TLC Nursing employs the most qualified healthcare professionals in the industry. Our healthcare staffing services are available for per diem, contract, and travel assignments ranging from 1 shift to 13+ week assignments. And they're designed to meet every organization's short-term staffing needs. As I said before, I'm working in 3 independent living facilities. So there's a lot of places that we are touching in the community. We are touching hospitals, nursing homes, clinics, doctor's offices, subacute facilities, long-term care facilities. We provide healthcare professionals who have a minimum of at least 2 years of relative experience in their field. And our staff is made up of different kinds of people: RNs, LPNs, LNAs, and certainly administrators. This is a very important slide because this slide says, be proud because you are valued. You are valued here at TLC. And I need you to understand that we are here to make sure that you are feeling appreciated and supported. This is a big piece that separates us from other home care agencies. We do everything in our power here at TLC to make sure that you know how important you are and how valued you are. And if you're not feeling valued, then you need to speak to somebody about that, because we don't want to lose you. So please know that you are valued, and we're very, very happy that you've joined us. This slide shows that how to get on to look at your employee handbook. My guess is that you haven't taken a look at it yet, but if you go to www.tlcnursing.com and you click on the employee resources, you can just scroll down that menu until you get to the employee handbook. It's very important that you look at this before you start work. Mohammed and I sat down together and we cut some of the orientation because it was very long and there was information in there that you just did not want to hear again, which is things like workplace abuse and sexual harassment, which you've heard in other places. So we did cut it, but we did put it into the employee handbook, and it's imperative that you do read it. Another very big piece that TLC offers that is completely different than most home care agencies is our open door policy. We really do have an open door policy here, and you do have access to upper management. With a click of a mouse or a phone call, Mohammed is always available. We would like you to follow the chain of command, of course, and so the first person you would be speaking to would be Alan. But know that we here at TLC all have our doors wide open, and we welcome your feedback, your suggestions, even your criticism. We would like to be as best as we can be here, and so along with feeling valued, know that you always have somebody that will support you. So we need to talk about confidentiality and HIPAA. There's a really big difference between these two words. HIPAA is a law, and that means if it's a law, that civil and criminal penalties can apply if HIPAA is violated. Confidentiality means that all records and files pertaining to business operations, including patients, employees, operations, and procedures, are confidential, and they do remain the property of TLC Nursing at all times. All employees must adhere to established privacy policies and procedures. Any employee who violates this policy is subject to discipline up to and including termination of employment. And I need to make this clear. We have no tolerance for a breach of confidentiality or HIPAA. HIPAA is a law, and it protects patients' private health information. It was designed to maintain the privacy of protected health information, including computer and written documents. Home care staff must keep absolutely confidential any and all information about our clients, such as addresses, problems, health issues, financial statuses, and relationships, etc. We are not allowed to discuss individual clients with or in the presence of anyone that does not have direct contact. Now, of course, scheduling or your case manager, Alan Susi, would be people that you could talk to. But if you are working in a facility and you are not working with the same client that another TLC employee is working with, you may not discuss that client. However, if you're working in a facility and you're working with the same client, you certainly are able to discuss that client. Because we consider confidentiality our most important policy, we insist that our staff respect this policy both in spirit and in fact. Divulging information about our clients is not only considered a gross violation of our company policy and will lead to corrective action up to including termination, it is also, as I said before, a violation of the HIPAA law, and it may result in criminal and civil penalties. So the receipt of the employee handbook, which we just talked about with regards to getting on the website and taking a look at it, that is the way that we are going to assume that you have signed a confidentiality agreement as a condition of employment with TLC Nursing. Mandated reporting. TLC recognizes the client's right to privacy and independence. However, if you see any kind of abuse or you suspect any kind of abuse, physical, financial, psychological, or emotional, or you see neglect, abandonment, or exploitation, those things need to be reported immediately to APS. You do not need to call us for any kind of permission. I'm giving you the permission now. So you should know that you are a mandated reporter. That means if you see any abuse or suspect any kind of abuse going on, neglect, exploitation, or abandonment, those things must be reported to the APS, Adult Protective Services phone number. And they will ask you some questions. You will answer the questions so that if a report can be generated, and ultimately then we would like you to call TLC and let Alan Susi know what you reported. So any employee of this agency who has reasonable cause must report suspicion of abuse. No person required to report elder abuse will bear any criminal liability unless you know the report is false. When 2 or more people are required to report a case, they may reach an agreement to have only one of them make the report. No supervisor or administrator may impede or prohibit reporting. The identities of those filing reports are confidential. The employee reports suspicion orally in writing to the nursing supervisor, and that would be Alan. The report will include the name and address of client, name and address of person or facility responsible for the care of the client, the nature and extent of the client's condition, and any other relevant information. And then Alan will then complete an abuse and neglect evaluation. So what do you think our drug and alcohol policy is? You got it. We have no tolerance for it. It's not acceptable. So on this slide, as you can see, there are 5 red circles with slashes through them. I can hardly read the text. But know that employees may not be under the influence or use any alcohol, intoxicant, or narcotic on the way to work or while performing duties for TLC Nursing. Also know that TLC Nursing may conduct searches for illegal drugs or alcohol within company facilities or work sites, as well as personal property within the workplace without prior notice to employees. And personal property may include purses, boxes, briefcases, as well as any TLC Nursing Associate property that's provided for employees' personal use, such as desks, lockers, and files. Such searches may be conducted at any time, and employees are required to cooperate fully with those searches. Smoking. I don't know how many of you out there are smokers, but you should know that in keeping with this agency's leadership role in the healthcare community and the growing body of evidence that indicates smoking and exposure to secondhand smoke is hazardous to smokers and non-smokers, we at TLC strongly urge our employees not to smoke. That being said, there are smokers out there, so let's talk about what our policy is here. Smoking is not permitted in or around TLC premises, including the parking lot. Smoking or using any other tobacco products is not permitted in any client's home. Smoking is limited to regular breaks and to an area at least 30 feet from the client's home. While performing duties, staffing an institution, the facility protocol will apply. Should you have any questions or complaints or disputes about smoking in the workplace, please contact your supervisor. And I want to mention here also that when you're working in a facility, you will have an orientation to that facility, and there should be a smoking policy as part of that orientation. OSHA. All employees are required to maintain safe work practices and observe all OSHA safety requirements and regulations. TLC Nursing is committed to maintaining a safe and healthy environment for all employees. We don't want to lose you. So we need you to report all accidents, injuries, potential safety hazards, safety suggestions, and health and safety related issues immediately to your supervisor. All employees should refer to the client's plan of care for appropriate techniques for lifting and transfers. In order to avoid injury, we require that caregivers not lift, push, or pull more than 50 pounds. If you're doing that, you really should be speaking to your supervisor. Assure appropriate orientation to use of medical equipment, supplies, oxygen, drugs, and to the location of the MSDS, which are the material safety data sheets in the facility. It is the employee's responsibility, that's your responsibility, to obtain all appropriate safety information from the facility. If you or another employee is injured, we need you to contact your supervisor immediately. Seek help from outside emergency response agencies as necessary. All workplace injuries must be reported, regardless of whether medical attention is necessary. The appropriate forms can be obtained from your supervisor. TLC Nursing follows all safety incidents and reviews through our quality assurance program. But I want to reiterate here, it's very important that you're timely with any injury. You must let us know as soon as possible. Regardless of whether you go to a doctor or the hospital, we need to know if you're injured, because 2 months down the road, if you end up with an infection and you come to us and say, oh yeah, that was for 2 months ago, we're not going to be able to help you. So we really need you to understand that if you're injured, we need to know right away. So for the facility staffing emergency procedures, you must familiarize yourself to the policies and procedures of each facility that you go to. That includes fire drills and any disaster preparedness, as well as we said before, the smoking policy, the cell phone policy, fire policy, all of those things should be covered in your orientation. Speaking of fire, in case of emergency, call 911. For our healthcare fire safety, what you should know is that the acronym RACE. R for rescue anyone in immediate danger. A for alarm, activate the nearest fire alarm and call your fire response telephone number. C, contain that fire by closing all those doors in the fire area. E, extinguish small fires. There will be extinguishers in the different facilities, and you should know where they are. How to properly operate a fire extinguisher is the acronym PASS. P for pull, A for aim, S for squeeze, and S for sweep. There will be a fire policy in your orientation for your facility. Infection control. Assume that all blood and body fluids from all patients are potentially infectious. That means if you get the mindset that your client has Hep B or HIV, bloodborne, those things are frightening. And you certainly, if you have the mindset that those clients might have those diseases, you will be well protected. Remember, gloves should be worn with anything that is warm and wet, or warm or wet. Those items are blood, feces, vomit, urine, oral secretions, respiratory secretions, and secretions from open wounds. So make sure that your gloves are worn when coming in contact with any body fluids or blood. Hands must be washed before and after contact with each patient and before preparing food. When you arrive to your facility, you should be washing your hands. Hands should be washed under a steady stream of warm water with soap or antibacterial fluid for at least 1 minute. And then you must dry your hands completely with a disposable paper towel. When gloves are removed, hands should be thoroughly washed again. Gloves do not take the place of hand washing. Remove those gloves by grasping the top and peeling them off, folding the fingers into the glove and turning the glove inside out. Now you're able to discard your gloves. Never reuse gloves. Bed linens, towels, and clothing soiled with urine, stool, or any other body fluid should be placed in a plastic bag and tied shut until ready to be laundered. And then those things need to be washed in hot soapy water and dried on high heat. This slide shows exactly how to take off gloves. When gloves are removed, hands should be thoroughly washed again. Remember, gloves do not take the place of hand washing. If you're working with a commode or a bedpan, we ask that you rinse with a 1 to 10 bleach solution. That's mixing a 1/4 cup bleach and 2 1/4 cups water, and using a fresh solution daily. Usually in facilities, they have a spray that you can be using to clean them properly. Remember to dispose of gloves in incontinent padding in a sealed plastic bag, and then to place that bag inside a household trash bag. Wash all eating utensils in hot soapy water. If you're working with needles and you are working with glucometers, make sure you do not put your needles in the trash. That is not acceptable. They are to be put into a puncture-resistant container. For most of you, you'll be working in facilities, therefore you'll be using the sharp containers that are located in your facility. But other places you can put needles are places like a coffee can with a hard plastic lid, a laundry detergent container, an ocean spray, juice container, anything that's hard plastic and that the needle cannot penetrate. Remember, bandages, used cotton and gauze, and gloves with body fluids on them are biohazardous waste. By law, if fluid cannot be squeezed out of the cotton or gauze, the waste item can be disposed in regular trash. TB. The reason that we test for TB here at TLC is because it is treatable, but it does spread easily. So we're going to talk about what TB is. So TB is spread when a person with TB disease coughs, sings, or speaks, and it is breathed into your lungs. The germs reach your lungs, and then it can reach other parts of your body. Your body will try and fight those germs. If your body controls the germs, then you have something called a latent TB infection. And that just means that you have a positive skin test, but you have a totally normal chest x-ray. You also don't feel sick, and you don't have any TB symptoms. And you can't give TB to others. So, you can take medication to treat your latent TB infection and prevent getting TB disease. If you do get TB disease, it will attack your lungs and other parts of your body. You will have a positive TB test. You'll also have a positive chest x-ray. You'll feel sick. You'll have a cough, fever, weight loss, chest pain, and you may be sweating at night. You also will have active TB germs in your body, and you can give TB to others. And so that is why we make sure that you are tested before you join TLC. Taking your TB medication is very important. You will need to take the medication to help you get better and to prevent any spread of germs. Know that fewer than 200,000 U.S. cases per year are happening with TB. It is treatable by a medical professional. It spreads easily. It requires a medical diagnosis. Lab tests or imaging is always required. As I said before, chest x-ray is the way that we determine a second check on whether you have TB. Our cell phone policy. Our cell phone policy is this. If you are working in a facility, there should be a cell phone policy. But our home care policy states that you are to have your cell phone with you. And the cell phone should be on a buzz or a vibrate. And the way it works is this. You are to give our phone number, our TLC phone number of 735-1123 to all of your loved ones. Your care providers, your family members, your boyfriends, your girlfriends, whoever it is, should have our 735-1123 phone number. And if there's an emergency, they should be calling us. At that point, we will take that information and find you and call you directly. The way it will work is that when your phone vibrates and it says TLC urgent, call now, you have permission to certainly call. However, we do not want cell phones used while working. We don't want any texting being done. We don't want any games being played. So that's why we allow the phones to be with you. It is because our policy states that if for some reason your phone vibrates or buzzes and TLC says urgent, you have certainly the right to call and find out why. Another thing I wanted to mention here is that there are times where you may use your phone for music. If a client doesn't have any ability to listen to a particular song they're talking about with you or something like that, I'm okay with you taking your phone out and loading up a song so they can hear it. But that is the only exception. The dress code. So you're representing us. So it's really important that you are dressed appropriately. We don't allow blue jeans, we don't allow sweats or shorts, and we don't allow miniskirts. No shirts or blouses tied at the midriff, clothing with bare midriff, or clothing not properly fastened are to be worn. I want to mention here, though, that working in facilities, usually scrubs are what is normal. And as long as that's part of your orientation process, we are totally fine with you wearing scrubs. No crop tops, no tank tops, no camisoles, no wife beaters, no low-cut or tight-fitting shirts or tops that show undergarments or inappropriate amount of skin are allowed. Blouses or shirts must provide appropriate coverage. No open-toed shoes, sandals, or flip-flops are allowed. And athletic shoes or Crocs are allowed. Mud shoes are allowed. Clogs are allowed. But you must have your toes covered. That is an OSHA requirement. And it's for your own safety. Your hair must be neat, clean, and tied away from your face. No excessive jewelry, dangling earrings, bracelets, or necklaces. And that's simply because of what's over here on the right here, where you see that somebody's earring was pulled right through their ear. No body piercings other than the ears are to be worn. You like that slide? Tattoos must be covered. Tattoos are very frightening to the generation that we work with. So they must be covered by long sleeves, other adequate clothing coverage, or with tattoo makeup. I've also heard that there are actual sleeves that you can buy in all different colors that you can put over your tattoos. And perfume shouldn't be worn with working with clients either, because of the fact that people do have allergies. Fingernails must be kept short. Artificial nails are not allowed because of that bacteria that can accumulate underneath the nail. And our number one piece of our dress code is our name badge. And our name badge must be worn at all times. So I want to talk about our name badge for a minute. Our name badge has 2 pages. The first page is our name, our licensure, and what we do for TLC. On the back, if you most likely will not have any information because you're working in the facilities. The second page will have emergency protocol, our phone numbers, and what to do in emergency situations, and how to reach the schedulers. But in emergency situations, you will be following the facilities protocol. This badge needs to be worn at all times while you're working for TLC in the facility. Our non-solicitation agreement simply states this: you may not work directly or indirectly through another agency with the facility that TLC placed you for a period of 1 year from the date of your last shift in that facility. In other words, if a facility says to you, "Oh, I'd like to double your salary if you'll just quit TLC," you're not allowed to do that. You will need to have left that facility and waited a full year before you can return for that offer. So let's talk about licensed nursing assistant and certified nursing assistant job description. So a licensed nursing assistant is a professional member of the healthcare team whose primary responsibility is providing supportive nursing care under the supervision of a licensed nurse in accordance with the Nurse Practice Act regulations of the State Board of Nursing. This position reports to the licensed nurse. In an institutional setting, this position reports to the designated person. The qualifications are you must possess valid current license under the State Board of Nursing. You must be of mature and responsible character. You must possess general knowledge of the disease process and basic standards of personal care. You must possess knowledge of necessary actions in emergency situations. You must be able to effectively communicate with the client, their significant others, and the nursing supervisor. And you must be in good physical and mental health. Also, you must complete this agency's employment process. The duties that you will be doing are, but not limited to, providing direct personal nursing care of subacute, chronically ill, and convalescent clients. Provide basic personal care according plan of care, monitoring client's condition, notifying the supervisor of changes in the client's condition, documenting activities of daily living accurately and submitting timely vital signs and weights. Working in cooperation with facility administration and personnel, and participating in continuing education programs. Performance is deemed competent when you demonstrate ability to provide nursing care within the parameters of the State Nurse Practice Act and the policies and procedures of the agency you're working in. Also, demonstrating ability to implementing a client's care plan. Demonstrating ability to accurately monitor a client's condition, and demonstrating effective communication skills. Also, it's important that you demonstrate ability to document pertinent information and submit records in accordance with this supplemental agency policy effectively. So, the LPN job description, licensed practical nurse. A licensed practical nurse, or licensed vocational nurse, is a professional member of the healthcare team whose primary responsibility is providing direct nursing care under the supervision of a physician and registered nurse in accordance with the Nurse Practice Act regulations of the State Board of Nursing. This position reports to the Director of Nursing. In an institutional setting, this position reports to the designated person. The qualifications for an LPN is you must possess valid current license under the State Board of Nursing. You must be a mature and responsible character. You must possess general knowledge of disease process and medication action. You must possess knowledge of necessary actions in emergency situations. You must be able to effectively communicate with the client, their significant others, and the nursing supervisor. You must be in good physical and mental health, and you must complete this agency's employment process. The duties that you will be doing include, but are not limited to, providing direct nursing care of subacute chronically ill and convalescent clients, administering medications and therapeutic treatments according to a prescribed regimen, monitoring clients' condition including effectiveness of treatments and medications, notifying supervisor of changes in client's condition, teaching the client appropriate self-care techniques, documenting accurately and submitting timely the nursing notes according to agency standards, and working in cooperation with facility administration and personnel. And last but not least, making sure that you participate in continuing educational programs. Your performance is deemed competent when you demonstrate ability to provide nursing care within the parameters of the State Nurse Practice Act and the policies and procedures of this agency, demonstrating ability to implement a client's care plan, when you demonstrate ability to accurately monitor a client's condition, and when you demonstrate effective communication skills. Also, when you demonstrate ability to document pertinent information and submit records to the agency in a timely manner. The RN job description. A registered nurse is a professional member of the healthcare team who provides skilled nursing care to clients under an established physician plan of treatment in compliance with the Nurse Practice Act and adheres to the policies and procedures of this agency. This position reports to the nursing supervisor. In an institutional setting, this person reports to the designated person. Your qualifications must, 1, possess a valid current nursing license under the State Board of Nursing. You must have a minimum of 1 year experience in an acute care setting. You must possess and maintain current cardiopulmonary resuscitation certification. You must be a mature and responsible character. You must possess current knowledge of the disease process, emergency interventions, and healthcare measures pertinent to each individual client. You must possess good observational nursing judgment and effective communication skills. You must be of good physical and mental health, and you must complete this agency employment process. Your duties include, but are not limited to, providing specialized nursing care, observing and providing ongoing assessment of client and family circumstances, communicating client changes and needs to the physician and nursing supervisor, initiation of preventative, rehabilitative, qualitative and therapeutic measures, teaching safety precautions, medication actions and interactions, and appropriate healthcare measures, administration of medications, treatments, and other modalities as ordered by the attending physician, maintaining current skills, knowledge, and information by continued education programs, documenting accurately and submitting timely the nursing notes according to agency standards, and working in cooperation with facility administration and personnel. And in performance is deemed competent when the registered nurse demonstrates ability to provide nursing care within the parameters of the State Nurse Practice Act and the policies and procedures of this agency, when they demonstrate ability to initiate and implement a realistic care plan, when the registered nurse demonstrates ability to continually assess a client's changing physical, emotional, and social condition, when the registered nurse demonstrates effective communication skills, and when they demonstrate ability to document pertinent information and submit it according to the agency policies. So our policies for travel staff, that's you. TLC Nursing Associates require candidates to furnish and keep current at all times during an assignment certain medical, employment, and certification information, including but not limited to employment application, resume, references, negative drug screens, background screening, TB test, current CPR, and any advanced certifications required within a specialty or unit being worked, professional licensure, Hep B series medical record or declination, any client-specific training, and any TLC required documentation. Expired documentation must be renewed prior to expiration date, or candidate risks the possibility of not being able to return to work until the documentation is up to date. Candidate agrees to work the minimum number of contracted hours during each week of this assignment as set forth in the assignment specifications. You acknowledge and agree that any and all compensation, benefits, housing costs, bonuses, disbursements, reimbursements, or other portions of candidates' compensation are contingent upon completion of your contracted hours for this assignment. You agree to make up any hours missed each week and may be required to float in order to do so. All bonuses and reimbursements will be prorated accordingly if the minimum number of hours is not met. You agree that for every 8-hour shift missed for reason other than client's request or the client's cancellation, you must make up each 8-hour shift missed in order to maintain 40 hours a week. If you do not take additional shifts to maintain that 40 hours per week, you will only be paid Vermont minimum wage for those shifts worked. You also agree that for the duration of the contract with TLC, you will not call out of your scheduled shift more than 3 times, or your bonus will be forfeited. You also agree to make every effort to complete the client assignment. If the assignment cannot be completed, then you agree to give 4 weeks prior written notice to TLC in order that a replacement person can be obtained and a continuity of effort are maintained to complete the assignment. You also agree that TLC reserves the right to bill for and deduct from your payroll and other bonuses or reimbursements any reasonable expenses incurred by TLC due to the cancellation of the contract, including but not limited to housing and other expenses. You agree to keep TLC advised of any and all issues or proceedings involving quality of care, professional standards, ethics, work performance, caseload, disciplinary action, or malpractice immediately. You also agree to adhere to and comply with any and all existing professional standards, ethics, bylaws, rules, and any regulation, both federal and state, which may apply to your profession. Basically, this means that you will contact TLC as soon as possible to address any concerns or issues that you may have with the facility, staff, personal, or facility patients and clients, You will not for any reason ever confront, retaliate, take any action, or act in any unprofessional manner. TLC will do its absolute best to find a personal person to advocate for you and or with you and the facility. Okay. The time reporting forms of TLC shall be conclusive as to the time worked by you. So TLC pays on a bi-weekly or weekly basis, and you are entitled to receive such payment as long as the client has verified and signed TLC time reporting form, and you have faxed or submitted the original signed copy to TLC by Monday at 9 a.m. Remember that? So this is our time card, and as you can see, it's a weekly time card, Sunday through Saturday. You have the date, the time in, hours and minutes, whatever minutes you break, and the time out, also the hours worked. All that we ask is that you please fill this out and get it to us by 9 o'clock on every Monday morning. Like I said, there's so many different ways you can get it to us. You will need to sign it, and you will also need to have an authorized facility signature. So I ask that if you are working and there's nobody to sign it, that you leave a copy with the facility you're working in, fax us a copy, and also make a copy for yourself. This is dealing with patients' racism and languages.
Hey guys, it's Nicole, and this is going to be a video on dealing with patients who do not like your ethnic group, or whether you have a patient that you and them have some sort of language barrier. I saw the episode of Grey's Anatomy when an African American doctor had to do a surgery on a Caucasian male who was a Nazi and had all these swastika tattoos all over him. Obviously that was a very serious situation and very personal struggle for that physician to deal with. Now, I haven't dealt with something, strong as that, but I do live in Florida, and we have a large elderly population. And with majority of elderly people, they are very set in their ways. You are not going to change their frame of mind. They're very set in their ways. So there are some elderly people, sadly, who do not like African Americans. They think we're lazy. They have all these stereotypes. They think we're not going to give them proper care. We have gold teeth. We play loud music, and etc. I've encountered this numerous times. When I have a patient that wants to change nurses because they think, well, I'm black and they think I'm not going to give them the appropriate care, I just walk into the room and I explain to them, I understand that you have these ideas about what African Americans should be, but I want to let you know that I'm a professional first and African American second. I am not offended by your comments. This isn't anything personal. Everyone is entitled to their opinions, but please know that all my patients get perfect customer care. All my patients are all treated the same, and I'm not going to treat you any less just because you feel the way you do. I'm a professional first. I'm always going to treat you the same way I treat anyone else. If you still feel like you want to change nurses, that's absolutely fine and within your patient's rights, but I wanted to let you know that I will always be a professional through and through, and I will take care of you regardless of what your views are. This isn't anything personal to me. Once again, you're entitled to your own opinions and your own ideas, but please know that I have nothing but good intentions as far as treating and taking care of you. Usually after that, they say, oh, I'll stay with you, or usually they still want to change nurses. And whether it's A or B, it's totally fine with me, but I always try to address the issue. Because of course, once you talk about someone, you think their ideas of you are going to change. And when you're professional, you can't be that way. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. Whether you like or dislike black people, whether you like or dislike Hispanics, you are going to meet people that do not like your ethnic group, and you're going to have to deal with it in a very professional way. And I try to disarm those stereotypes by being as professional, as courteous and as positive as I can be. If you're coming in with shortness of breath, I'm very nice, I'm very respectful. I put, oxygen on you, raise the head of bed, I'm explaining everything to you. I'm just a little more gentle with you than I am with most patients because that stereotype is there, but I'm trying to disarm all those stereotypes from the beginning as well. But it hurts inside, but I don't take it personal because everyone's entitled to their opinions. Whether you like spaghetti or don't like spaghetti, whether you like black people or don't like black people, everyone has their personal preference and their ideas of what each ethnic group is bringing to the table. I'm not going to change that with you, you know what I mean? I'm not getting paid at the hospital to be, the black representative of the party. I'm here to take care of you, and I just try to let patients know that. I am not here to stand on a soapbox and preach to you why black people are awesome. I just want to let you know that I am a professional. I'm here to take care of you, and you are entitled to your views. Another issue I deal with is a language barrier. Sometimes we have patients come in that only know Spanish and they don't have any other family members to interpret, and that's very difficult. We have this thing in my hospital called a blue phone where I put a headset to my ear, a patient puts one to their ear, and there's an interpreter that interprets the conversation back and forth, which sounds great in theory. But to get someone to pick up the phone and have them wait 5 minutes while the interpreter comes on the phone, it's very difficult to coordinate because this patient's in pain, they don't feel good, they're lonely, they're tired, and they're scared. The hospital is a very foreign atmosphere for a lot of people. And when everyone's speaking a language you're not, it's even more scarier. So it takes at least an hour or 2 hours to try to get all the information from the patient, symptoms, vitals, head to toe assessment, things of that nature. But usually after that, I then try to get the interpreter on the phone. Worst case scenario, if the phone doesn't work, I just try to switch their nurse with a Spanish-speaking nurse. And that doesn't hurt my feelings at all. If my grandmother only speaks Spanish and there is a Spanish nurse, please do me that favor and get the Spanish nurse. Why are you fighting the wave here? It's going to be difficult for the both of you and worse off for the patient because they're not getting that 100% great patient care that the hospital should provide. So in the cases of language barriers, I do understand. Sometimes the nurse is able to work through those barriers. I had a family last week and this week that had only spoke Creole. We did a series of letter boards and word boards, which is when they point to the word, and they knew a little bit of English. So we kind of got the problems out on the table and we were able to work through some things. But I was able to stay as their nurse in the end. But sometimes with some patients, they have no reference of English whatsoever, and the best bet is to find an interpreter or a nurse who speaks their home language. But when changing nurses as far as language goes, I don't really mind because it's what's best for the patient, not what's best for me because I'm too lazy to find another nurse. You know what I mean? It's for the patient. When it comes to ethnic group discrepancies and issues, that tends to hurt. I really want to take care of that patient. I really want to show them what I as an African American can bring to the table as far as contributing to society. But in the end, if they don't want me, they don't want me. A patient is well within their rights to change their nurses, to change their physicians, and to be in charge of their own patient care. But I always try to respond to the idea at hand. So they don't think that, I'm going to be rude to them now that they've said that, because nurses talk. Nurses and physicians talk, and patients know that. So I always let them know that I understand how they feel. They're entitled to their opinions, but in the end, I'm going to be professional. I'm going to take care of you, and that's the only thing that matters right now. But that's it. If you guys have any questions or comments for me, though, please put them on the bottom. Thank you for watching, guys, and have a great day. Bye.
Okay, so a couple things I did want to bring up is how to use generations. So we do have an app for the cell phones or the tablets. You just go to the App Store and type in generations, and it will say Generations Home Care System. You just click on that. It's a free app. Once you have the Generations app, literally when you click on your app of Generations, it will come up to a screen that says agency ID, email, and password. And all you need to do is put in that information. It will bring you directly to the schedule. And well, first it'll give you a menu, and you can click on the schedule. But you also have access on there for any client's information as well. So once you click onto your schedule, once you see that calendar, you also have access to look at broadcasts, which are last-minute shifts. And those broadcasts will, if you click on them, they will come up and they will have names, and then they'll have also, usually they'll have a letter or an initial. They'll tell you what they are looking for, whether it's an LNA or a PCA or whether it's an LPN or an RN, and then it will give you an initial, and the initials are for different facilities. And I actually personally don't know what the initials stand for, but if you call scheduling and you're interested in picking up those shifts, all you have to do is call scheduling and they will tell you where those, what those initials equal. So those are the broadcasts, and I wanted to mention those to you. So getting onto Generations is real easy. If you would prefer not to go the route of the app, then you can easily go to our website at www.tlcnursing.com. And you can go directly to, scroll all the way down to the bottom of our website, and you will see Employee Login. You click that, and then it'll bring you to the top of our web page, and then you scroll down until the first, I think it says Generations, on the first piece of the first thing you see, the first line. You click on that, and it will bring you directly into the homepage of Generations, which has your agency ID, email, and password. And any of us can help you with that if you have any questions. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know that we have some wonderful travelers coming aboard, and it was great giving you some tidbits of TLC and some policies and procedures. Certainly, you're welcome to contact any of us at any time if you have any questions, but for now, I'm going to sign off and just let you know that you have joined a fantastic company. Take care. Bye-bye. I'm afraid, I just don't want to touch the wrong button after doing all that.
Right.
I wonder if it's this one here. It says record.
You just want to shut it off?
Yeah, because I'm done. I think. I don't know for sure.
Oh, there's a power button right here.